through the start and over this double jump, single file to see who can get the lead. It's one of the most exciting sports, and we have all of it still to come. It's the ESPN BMX Pro Spectacular Round 2. Hello everybody and welcome to Waterford Oaks, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. I'm D. David Moore along with Tony Jordan, and this is the second stop on our super circuit of the ESPN BMX Pro Spectacular. And Tony, let's talk about our series. We had our first stop in Miami. Let's talk about the winner from that race.
Brian Patterson's leading the series, total of 80 points. We've got 7 other riders behind him. We're in Detroit for the second round. We've got an excellent day here, excellent conditions. It's about 70, 72 degrees, few clouds, beautiful facility here, grass, fast track, a tough track, a very competitive track. We'll see excellent racing today.
Let's talk about prize money on this Pro Spectacular series. It's one of the richest purses of all time, and each race has how much for the first place finish?
$2,500 for a day's work for the top A Pro winner.
And that comes down to about a minute's worth of racing on this type of a track. We'll be going through all of the semis and the main motos for all of the pros, and we've got the top pros in the country from the West Coast and the East Coast. We'll have a really good first-hand look at the racetrack we have here at Waterford Oaks, and our first race right after this.
BMXer starts with the awesome frame set that keeps him on the jagged edge. Jag BMX World Championship Racing Frame Set. For flat-out speed and awesome fork tab design to keep you out front. And Jag's own rear dropout that steadies the ride. The awesome beginning. Jag BMX Midi Pro Model or 24-inch cruiser frame set. Jag BMX, the World Championship Racing Frame Set.
New Strawberry Honeycomb's gonna go over big.
Strawberry honeycomb, here it comes.
Wow!
Big strawberry taste, big honeycomb fun.
Giant strawberry! What's going on?
Big strawberry news from Honeycomb. Natural strawberry flavor.
Strawberry!
Awesome crunch.
Wow, big strawberry taste, big honeycomb fun.
New Strawberry Honeycomb cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Waterford Oaks Park in Waterford, Michigan, and here's a good look at the kind of racetrack we're racing on today. It's a nice long track, as Tony Jordan mentioned earlier, and it all starts right here at the starting gate. 8 racers per moto, handlebar to handlebar, pedal to pedal coming across, and it's a pretty steep starting gate, almost like a ski jump. They butt their front tire against that aluminum gate and wait for that Christmas tree light to tick off, and then when the gate drops, it's fall away and fire off for the whole shot. Tony, after the gate drops, they go into our first jump, and how would you describe this first jump?
The first jump is very, very tricky. They come over it, they try and take it as a speed jump, meaning that in BMX the advantage is to not get any air over a jump. Keep your wheels on the ground, keep pedaling, get that drive going forward. Almost
In ski racing, it's kind of, they take a pre-jump over that jump in order to compact and not get any air off it, to stay low to the ground.
Exactly, get that traction. Heading into the first turn, we've got a jump in the middle of the first turn. That can also be very tricky. The first turn jump, very important. You've got a small straightaway leading into the second section here where we have the double jumps. These are 2 jumps set about 12 feet apart. Very tricky. Some of the younger riders will ride over both of them. Some of the top A Pro riders will completely clear the second jump, maximum speed heading into that third turn.
And Tony, that's where the first turn is really important because they got to get just the right kind of angle off that first turn in order to hit these double jumps with enough speed to clear them with no problem. After these double jumps, we do go into turn number 2, which is kind of our first roundhouse here. Last year, they didn't have a berm on this turn, but this year they've built it up, and it's a fast berm. I talked to a couple of the pros, and they say the way to do it is to start in low and come out about in the middle. You don't want to get too high because you'll get caught out to dry.
No, but you've got that extra room if you need it. Coming down into the tabletop, which is the last obstacle on the course. A tabletop, very flat top, 10 to 15 feet long. Last part of the track, you got to clear that before, and then it's on the way to the finish line about 50 feet past.
So that's our course that we have for you. About a 900-foot course, a nice long course, a little bit of everything, a corkscrew finish, tabletop down to the back straight and all the way down to the finish line. And that's not all there is going on here at Waterford Oaks Park. It's a beautiful facility, a lot of recreation, and some beautiful camping. And a little bit earlier this morning, we had a chance to go out and kind of snoop around the campgrounds ourselves and see what kind of BMX racers we could dig up. Waterford Oaks is kind of a unique place because the campgrounds here are just beautiful for a BMX track. It's not often that families can travel from really cross-country to a BMX track and have these kind of facilities. Like, take these people here. They're enjoying the morning here. You know, I think we may, well, just to get a real first-hand look at some of the racers here, let's just stick our head in this tent and see what we can find. Hey, anybody there?
Yeah.
What's going on, guy?
Not much. Trying to get woke up.
Did you have a late night last night?
No, started sleeping in this tent on the hill.
Come on out. What's your name? I want to talk to you here.
Jamie.
Jamie, how you doing? D. David.
Pretty good.
What age bracket do you race in?
13 expert and 13 under cruiser.
Have you raced at Waterford here before?
No, this is the first time.
Where are you from?
Ohio.
Ohio. See, just like I was saying, people from all over out of state. Who are you here with, Jamie?
Chris Danishek. She's right behind you.
All right. Who's Chris now?
She's the owners of our team's wife.
Uh-huh. And she travels with you and a bunch of other kids too?
Well, this is the first time I've come with her because my mom and dad are home.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't have the money for all of us to come, so I just come with her.
So we just kind of doubled up and came on with Chris. Well, shoot, let's talk to Chris here and find out how all this happened.
Hi.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Fine.
What do you think of these campgrounds here?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We even had a reservation in a motel, and we decided to stay here.
What's it like for a BMX family, actually kind of a conglomerate of families, just to come on out and face the wild?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's just to get out and be with all the people and meet all the different people from all over the United States. It's just great.
It seems like it's a real community feeling and a tight-knit feeling as well, just with the kids that you travel with. For example, Jamie here.
Definitely. It certainly is. It brings everybody together, and it just makes everybody a lot closer in the sport.
How do these kids get into the sport?
Oh, different ways. My son had saved for a moped, and he saw the BMX races and decided to get into it that way. And I said, "More power, let's do it."
Uh-huh. And how long ago did that happen?
This is our third summer.
Huh, fantastic. All right, well, congratulations and good luck today. What age bracket is your son racing in?
15 expert, and I have a little girl that's 12, 13 powder puff.
Boy, the whole family.
Right.
All right, well, thanks very much, Chris. And we'll be keeping an eye on Jamie racing today.
Okay.
All right. And that's life here in the campgrounds before the race actually starts. Well, as you can see, Tony, we kind of caught James by surprise this morning, waking him up in his tent. But he did get up and was able to tune in his bike. He's already run a couple times this morning, and his third motor should be coming up real quick. As a matter of fact, I believe the 13 expert class is on the line. For the 13 expert class is underway here, and Wayne Payhood, who we had a visit with this morning, is doing fairly well. He's on the outside, cranking on that far side. He's in third place, going over the first turn and over the double jumps. He takes them both, and he ends up in third place on that first turn.
It's Kenny Galatz from Ohio, I believe 57K leading, number 86 in second place, and in third place you were calling the rider was Payhood.
Jamie Payhood coming around that bend. He's looking to that tabletop. He's going to try to work into second place if he can. He's over that top. He's going to finish up with third, but coupled with a second place in his first moto in these preliminary rounds, it may be good enough for Mr. Payhood to go ahead and advance into the finals. Jamie Payhood doing a good job in that 13 expert class in these preliminary motos, and he finishes up with a third place, and coupled with his first round moto with a second place finish, he's probably going to be advancing into the semis for the 13 expert category. The track here at Waterford Oaks Park in Waterford, Michigan is one of the faster tracks on the pro circuit, and along with speed a lot of times comes a lot of spills. BMX racing is such an exciting sport, but a lot of the thrills is there because there happens to be quite a few spills. And on the topic of spills, Tony, what do you think are some of the factors that the pros look into in racing and that kids should look out for?
Well, you always have to have the proper safety equipment that you're wearing on your own physical body as well as on the bicycle. I know that earlier you had a chance to speak with Greg Grubbs, the Jag BMX Factory Pro Rider, about just that exact subject. So he detailed a little bit about that.
D. David here talking with Greg Grubbs, a factory rider. And Greg, why don't we talk a little bit about the BMX bike itself? It's quite a machine. Let's start with the front tire, if you will.
Okay, the front and back tires are usually the same. You might want to run them big or small. They're just basically knobbies to keep you from sliding on the dirt.
And what kind of rim do you run?
I run alloy rims. They're just nothing special. Everybody uses them. They're lightweight spokes, lightweight wheel, basically for strength.
And the fork is a heavy-duty type of a fork?
Yeah, the fork's real heavy-duty. It's all chromoly, just as the frame is.
Uh-huh. And then what about your handlebars?
Handlebars are all chromoly. Just about everything on a BMX bike is all chromoly.
And chromoly it's a lightweight metal, but it's also a very strong and tough metal.
One of the stiffest that we find. It's not too expensive. You could get stiffer and lighter, but it's the best for overall price.
Then you got to have a race plate number so everybody can tell your numbers. Is that right?
Yeah, plates just a basic. I mean, plates are plates.
How about your grips here? Are these a special type of a grip?
Yeah, this is a new grip. It just came out, and it's real good. I like it, and it's got the little foam thing so you don't get blisters on your hands, which is real good.
It seems like it's pretty reinforced so your hand doesn't slide into the bar at all.
It doesn't. It's really nice.
Well, let's get back down here to the rest of the frame. It's a 20-inch frame. It's a 20-inch they call it, right?
Yeah, 20-incher. I don't like the big bikes.
And these have a special pad here as well. I notice there's another pad up here by the gooseneck, and that's just to kind of protect yourself over the falling off a berm or a jump.
Pads are mandatory. I mean, everybody's got to have pads. It's just a good idea for safety.
Let's move on back to the cranks and the pedals here. Any special rigging on these?
No, once again, chromoly cranks. It's the lightest and stiffest metal. And the pedals have chromoly shafts too, and real sharp.
Those ever take a bite out of you?
Yeah, I got some scars from those. They've gotten real sharp in about the last year, just so people don't slip off.
But there's no cage on a BMX pedal.
No cage.
Just sharp teeth.
Just sharp teeth.
All right. Well, let's talk about the seat here and the seat post, and then we'll talk about safety. Any special type of a seat?
I run a suede seat. Most guys run plastic seats, but what I find with these nylon pants is that you slip off too easy. And so I just went to the suede one. It feels real good. I stick really nice. And the seat post is, again, chromoly, and it's got a special bend in, if you'll notice, to give you more room. You know, once you're past 16 years old, you're going to need something for a little more room.
So it puts you back a little bit more on the bike. One last question about braking on this bike. You have a caliper brake on the back. You also have a coaster brake or only caliper pull brake?
Only caliper. Just when you go over a jump and you spin back and you have a coaster brake, you're going to lock them up and probably crash. So I just like to run one caliper brake.
Great. Well, and then let's talk one little bit about gearing. What kind of gearing are you running for this track?
I'm running a little hard. This is a nice fast track, really fast. This is one of the nicest tracks around, and so I'm running 45-17, which is it's a pretty hard gear.
So that's 45 teeth in the front sprocket and 17 in the back. Great. Let's talk about safety real quick, Greg. Pick up your helmet there, and maybe you can just tell us some of the fundamentals of the type of safety gear that you use, starting with the goggles.
Yeah, I just use regular goggles made by Oakley. And the helmet's just your basic type BMX helmet. It's lighter than a motorcycle helmet, and the impact speed's not as hard, so it doesn't weigh as much. Some guys like the motorcycle helmets. And a mouth guard, that's mandatory now. Nice JT mouth guard.
So if you take a bad spill, you got some protection on your mouth.
Don't bite on your face, yeah.
Your jersey looks like it's a very cool, kind of perforated type jersey.
Yeah, they've gone to the vented jerseys and vented pants now, so the air just flows right through, so you're not so sweaty, and so you don't get as uncomfortable.
And you've got some padding, it looks like, back here.
I've got pads sewn into both arms, so that when I fall on my elbows, I don't take a chunk out of those.
Gloves are a big part in BMX.
Gloves are a big part. These are brand new. I like these a lot. They've got they've got pads on the knuckles, so that a lot of times when you fall, you don't have time to take your hand off, and so they've got pads on the knuckles now, so that when you go down, you don't ruin your knuckles.
Great. And what about these pants? A lot of different colors, a lot of different material on it as well.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get real flashy now, so you get more. When you go by on TV, you want to get something real flashy. And they've got pads in the knees and hips for.
Just turn around here and see if we can.
For safety, you can't really see them, but they're in there. And like I said, they're all nylon. They're vent flow.
And you've got strong knee pads here, almost a cap on it. And how about your shoes?
Shoes are Jock's Jag. They're one of the best BMX shoes I've found.
Just a lightweight sneaker will do it, though. Right. No special tricks.
Real stiff on the bottom. That's what I like on the sole.
Good rubber sole.
And I'm wearing ankle guards. Not too many guys wear these, but I've ripped up my ankles so many times. I've got so many scars that it hurts if I even touch my crank.
All right. Well, great. Thank you very much, Greg, and good luck today in racing.
I'll need it.
That's the ABCs with BMX bike and head-to-toe safety with Greg Grubbs.
Excellent. You certainly did cover from head to toe and stem to stern on that bike with Greg Grubbs.
Everything there is to know about safety and BMX bikes. Yeah, we covered it all head to toe. I want to ask you a question, Tony, about racing. Why do accidents happen? These guys take a lot of hard falls. What's the biggest reason for accidents?
The biggest reason and the biggest portion of the track where accidents will happen is between the starting gate and the first turn. You have 8 riders coming off abreast. As you said earlier, they have to funnel down into maybe 3 or 4 abreast. When you get those spinning pedals and all those feet coming together, something's got to give, and usually it's a rider going down.
What type of what part of the body are we talking about that's the most injury prone? Is it from the waist down, or is it upper body as well?
We would talk mostly knees, hips, and elbows, and those all have padding that is required inside the BMX pants and also inside the BMX jersey. Hands take a lot of beating too. That's why you have the heavy padded gloves.
Yeah, those gloves are excellent. They're very well padded. Well, bicycle technology's come a long ways. BMX has been in business in racing for the last 10 years, but we really have a machine that's very well honed now, and the chrome moly components really make it a lightweight and a tough package all the way around. We'll be right back with a lot more exciting BMX racing action still to come here at Waterford Oaks Park.